Welcome to Sports News. Cote d'Ivoire manager Hervé Renard has named his 23-man squad for next month's African Cup of Nations and the international friendly with the Super Eagles of Nigeria in Dubai. Liverpool defender Kolo Touré will get the chance to play in one last international tournament after being included in the Ivorian squad. Touré has decided to retire from duty with the Elephants after the January the 17th to February the 8th finals in Equatorial Guinea. His brother, Manchester City midfielder Yaya, is also in the 23-man squad. Swansea's Wilfried Bony and Newcastle's Sheikh Cote are the other Premier League-based players selected. Cote d'Ivoire will face Cameroon, Mali and Guinea in Group D, while the game against the Super Eagles of Nigeria comes up on January the 11th. And in England, Crystal Palace and Newcastle are in advanced talks over a compensation deal which would see boss Alan Pardew move to South London. Palace are without a manager after sacking Neil Warnock on Saturday, 4 months into his second spell in charge at Selhurst Park. Pardew made 128 appearances for Palace between 1988 and 1991 and scored the winning goal in his side's famous FA Cup final win over Liverpool in 1990. Reports from England indicate that talks have been made more difficult because Newcastle owner Mike Ashley is on holiday in Barbados, but there could be an agreement between the two clubs tomorrow morning. Both clubs are also silent on reports that Palace will pay £2 million to land Pardew, who still has 5 years left on his St James's Park contract. In the English Premier League, Liverpool thrashed Swansea 4-1 in a game played this evening to continue their resurgence. Goals from Spanish left-back Alberto Moreno, a brace from English winger Adam Lallana and an own goal from former player John Joe Shelvey gave Liverpool victory at Anfield. This victory moves Brendan Rodgers' men to the 8th position on the league table. The Reds' next game will be against Nigel Pearson's Leicester City on New Year's Day. In other sports, British boxer Amir Khan earlier today made a visit to the Peshawar school where Taliban gunmen killed 142 people, including 132 children, to pay his respects to the victims. The World Boxing Council silver welterweight champion has pledged to help rebuild the Army Public School in the northwestern city of Peshawar, the scene of Pakistan's deadliest attack for years. Khan, who retained his title earlier in the month, said he had been deeply shocked by the young children's loss of life and he had come to Peshawar to see parents and surviving children. The boxer also met Pakistan's Army Chief General Raheel Sharif at the general headquarters in the garrison city of Rawalpindi. In table tennis, Egypt's top-ranked player El Said Lashin says Nigeria will be a threat to Egypt's title ambitions at the International Table Tennis Federation Africa Senior Championships holding next month in Cairo. Lashin will be leading the Egyptian team to the ITTF World Team Cup holding in Dubai on January the 6th to the 9th. He also admitted that retaining the men's singles title would be a hard one for him with the quality of Nigerian players led by Africa's rave of the moment, Aruna Quadri. Aside from Nigeria, Lashin also says Congo-Brazzaville, which recently naturalized 2 Chinese players, would be a team to beat. He, however, tipped Quadri for the ITTF Star Awards, saying winning the award would surely give the continent a voice in global table tennis. And that's it on Sports News. It's back to Bimbo with the rest of the news at 10.
Thank you, Charles. On the foreign scene now, doctors in the UK have diagnosed a health worker just back from Sierra Leone with the Ebola virus disease. The National Health Service says she's being managed in an isolation facility in Glasgow, where she's stable and not showing any great clinical concern. The patient returned to Scotland from Sierra Leone late on Sunday via Casablanca and London Heathrow, arriving into Glasgow Airport on a British Airways flight at about 11:30 p.m. Authorities are now tracing all possible contacts with the patient. She's expected to be transferred to the high-level isolation unit in the Royal Free Hospital in London. Now, 8 people are now known to have died following a fire that broke out on the Norman Atlantic ferry off Corfu. It's not clear what caused the fire on the ship carrying 478 people, but rescue teams have been able to save more than 400 passengers. Victoria Idowu has more on this and other major stories on the foreign scene.
Malaysia is searching the Java Sea for the aircraft that went missing on Sunday during a flight from Indonesia to Singapore. The search mainly focuses on the remote islands of Bangka and West Kalimantan province. Meanwhile, Italian officials say all remaining passengers have been taken off the ferry, which caught fire off the islands of Corfu. 5 people died in the incident. 1 man was killed when trying to escape the ship, and a further 4 bodies have been recovered from the sea. More than 400 people were rescued in the long and complex operation. Still in Europe, Greek members of the parliament have rejected the presidential candidate nominated by the Prime Minister, causing a snap general election. Stavros Dimas failed to reach the necessary 180 votes, which means that parliament will have to be dissolved. Finally, it's a year since Egypt jailed 3 Al Jazeera journalists, and the father of one of them says he is optimistic that they will be released soon. Speaking to the media on the first anniversary of the arrest, Peter Greste's father said he is confident their conviction will be overturned. The 3 Al Jazeera journalists were sentenced to between 7 and 10 years in prison for spreading false news to help the terrorist group. And those are the top stories on the foreign scene. It's back to the news.
Well, rave hip-hop artists Wizkid and Davido put an end to the brewing Cold War between them. That's on Entertainment News with Mayowa Ogundele.
Here are the trending entertainment stories. It appears all is well again between raving rival artists Wizkid and Davido following months of throwing subliminal jabs at each other over social media. The Jaye Jaye singer, who had earlier called the Aye singer names on Twitter, made promotional tweets referencing Davido to confirm that both parties have buried the hatchets.
Wizzy bad musician, sassy bad producer. You already know.
And nearly 2 years after completing production, the Katunga Duak-directed romantic thriller Heaven's Hell finally gets a release date. The film, which stars movie heavyweights Fabian Olojede, Inse Ikpe-Etim, Osi Ukeje, Bimbo Akintola, amongst others, is now set for a January release. On to some new music. Syndicate Records frontline artist Lynx has just directed his first music video. Lynx directed the video for a song titled One Eye Open by his label mate Blink. According to the artist, One Eye Open is a freestyle track which was shot by the fine lady singer with a smartphone.
When I sleep with one eye open up, Benny. I keep one eye open.
Also, energetic R&B and dance music singer Shay Shay is pleased with the positive reactions that met a leaked song Airbrush. The singer expresses gratitude to fans who are loving the song on social media, although she went ahead to call out the production house that leaked out the ballad.
Even in the frame. No way.
Sony Pictures said the interview has earned more than $15 million in online sales and another $2.8 million in theaters, an impressive return made possible by the publicity surrounding the cyber attack blamed on North Korea. The raunchy comedy that depicts the assassination of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un made almost as much money through online distribution and in limited theaters in its opening weekend as it would have in a wide release that was shelved after threats from hackers.
You're the worst.
He's peanut butter and jealous.
What is there to be jealous of?
They hate us because they ain't us.
They don't hate us because they ain't us.
They hate us because they ain't us.
That's it on Entertainment News. It's back to the main news.
Indeed, it's the main news again. An explosion in a football field has killed 1 person in Potiskum. This came as Governor Gaydam today visited Nigerian refugees in Niger Republic and toured the towns attacked by militants in Yobe State recently. Experts and professionals in London have highlighted the ongoing insurgency and the forthcoming general elections as the major challenges that Nigeria faces in 2015 and offered suggestions on the way forward. And for a second day, the search for the missing AirAsia Indonesia flight has ended after an official said the missing plane could be at the bottom of the Java Sea. And that brings us to the end of the news at 10 tonight. Thank you very much for watching. Do join us again tomorrow at the same time. I'm Bimbo Loede. Have a good night.